Autism is a neurodevelopmental delay. It's characterized by difficulties with communication, with socialization, with being able to build and maintain relationships, with adherence to rigid routines and stereotypical movements or noises. There's a sensory element to autism where people are either over or undersensitive to things. And there's just kind of a general difference between how that person with autism and their brain experiences the world, views the world, and responds to the world. One of the more emerging terms for autism and for related issues is neurodiversity. Neurodiversity just meaning different brains, different minds. And autism is definitely a different mind. It's a different mindset, it's a different way of looking at the world. There's a great saying that is, if you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. And so because of the uniqueness of autism and how it looks for each person, they talk about autism as a spectrum, where people can be all different kind of types or even flavors of autism all across the spectrum on any given dynamic. And a good rule of thumb for autism is that it's a disorder of extremes, that on any given dynamic, autism is going to just struggle to find that middle ground. Anything else, though, they may go all this way or all that way. With sensory sensitivities, they may be way oversensitive in one area and way undersensitive to another sensory modality. With any kind of cognitive ability, speaking or social ability, motor skills, all of those things, autism tends toward extremes. And because of those extremes, especially in childhood, especially because the person is neurologically delayed, they're not physically delayed. So physically, they're exactly, right on track with their peers. But mentally and socially, emotionally, they're going to be a bit behind. A good rule of thumb is what I call the rule of 2/3. This hasn't been seriously researched too much, but generally in the hundreds of people that I've worked with autism, as a good rule of thumb, you can imagine that they're about 2/3 of their chronological age in terms of social emotional development. So that's really great for me in my 40s, but it can be really hard for a child that's in elementary school, junior high, high school, young adulthood, when they're just feeling so far behind their peers in so many different ways. So yeah, autism's constantly emerging. It's very invisible. You can't tell someone's autistic by looking at them. You often can't tell by talking to them. But despite how unique it is, there's definitely some common threads, and it tends to be a kind of a common life story of certain struggles that they've had, and being able to overcome those or not really defines a lot of the kind of quality of life that they'll have as an adult.